almost the same outfit as my last video. Very astute of you. I'm literally filming these back to back. I just found my June hopefuls for Gay Month because, duh, why wouldn't I? I love a good queer book. But I realized I didn't do a video for May. Salutations, darlings. I'm Sweetling, and this is very many books. Again, I'm hoping that'll turn around, you know, with Gay Month and everything. You know, that's what the rainbow shirt is for. I'm in the spirit, and my rainbow earrings. But I'm not here to talk about those. I'm here to tell you about the books that I did read. Two. Sorry, running. Two. Count them. 2 books that I read during the month of May. I read An Almond for a Parrot by Ray Delaney, which is this 18th century, like this book set in 18th century about Tully Trugood. And she is on trial for murder. And she's writing out her story, basically like giving us an account of what happened and how she got in jail. I honestly, to this day, I don't know why I started reading it and what I was like, yeah, I want to read that. I don't know if it was because of the fact that it was like romance, labeled romance, or because it's just labeled historic fantasy fiction. And I think on Libby it labels it as erotica, which isn't wrong because it is quite erotic. It's got some soft core porn in there, really. And it does say that she becomes a courtesan. Anyway, I took a chance, started reading it, and I was invested in figuring out who she married because they talk about how she is in jail for murder of her, like attempted murder, I think, of her husband, who she married at 10. And I was like, what? Because I was there for the magic. Because apparently she's had not apparently, she does. She has magic powers. She can see the dead, and she can make other people see the dead. It's very fascinating. But that's what I was there for. And honestly, I don't know why I stuck around. But it was only 10 hours. But it took me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to finish it. Honestly, I don't know why I read it, but I finished it, and because I was like, well, I gotta finish something. And I was too invested by the point that I was like, should I DNF it? And then I was like, no, just keep reading. Just keep reading it. Because I really wanted to know who her terrible husband was. Like, why is she being married at 10? And we do find all that out in the book. It does a great job with not leaving any plot holes. It was a little queer, you know, had a sprinkle of lesbians in there, and I loved that. That was great. It had a sprinkle of gay. Did like that. the circumstances of who the characters were that were queer, like that were gay, and the relationship that they had with Tully in general, it was plot twist. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. But also, I kind of wish that wasn't the case, considering who the queer couple was, the gay couple. I could probably do a whole little like I read it so you don't have to if we want to get into it, because I gotta talk to somebody about this book. I tried to get my mom to read it. I don't know if she read it. She hasn't updated me if she read it or not. So far I have no one to talk to about this book. But if you want to read it, if you want to suffer and read it, so we can talk about it. If you liked Sienna, I think her name is Sienna from Bridgerton. She gives Sienna from Bridgerton vibes, kind of. You know, Anthony's opera house singing mistress lady. Like, she's giving Sienna with her whole like, I want to be my own woman. I don't want to be with no man, except she does. She falls in love with somebody. She falls in love with her first client, actually, as a courtesan. Sorry, I'm just dropping info left and right. But that's not a spoiler because it's in the description. But she's giving Sienna with the fact that she can do magic and she performs magic shows at the brothel that she works for, and it's a wild ride of a book is basically what I'm saying. It took me 6 minutes to say that it's a wild ride of a book. Anyway, the only other book that I read, which was also a wild ride, and honestly, I don't know if I want to unread. Like, I don't know how I feel about this book yet. But if you watched my video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Talking about Midnight Sun. Yes. Stephenie Meyer's 5th book, Midnight Sun. I didn't read books 1 through 4 of Twilight. I only read Midnight Sun because I saw enough people saying that it was unhinged and it was funny. And so I was like, fine, I'll take the chance. Unhinged, funny, let's do it. Let's get into it. This book almost put me through hysteria. I swear. The first half, I was there. The second half, I wanted it to be over. Look. It's Twilight. What can I say? It's Edward's perspective of Twilight. And, I was there for the whole, I'm gonna kill her, I'm gonna drink her blood. I'm not gonna kill her, I'm not gonna drink her blood. I want her to live, I wanna stay in Forks, Washington, and I don't want us to have to move and start over again. I loved the whiplash that we were getting. I didn't like the monologuing that we were getting. I enjoyed Vigilante Edward, his backstory of being Vigilante Edward, the few years that he left Carlisle and Esme. That was interesting. I liked the little tidbits that we were getting about the Cullens and all of their powers and whatnot. I liked that. That was interesting. I'm not one for miscommunication, but I loved the miscommunication between Edward and Bella. The fact that he's so used to everyone, reading everyone's brains, that he doesn't have to really try to understand them, versus Bella, who literally does not know what is going on, and the fact that she has no sense, even though she likes Sense and Sensibility. Somebody fix it. I don't know. So the first half of the book, I loved it. I loved the miscommunication. I loved the unhingedness of Edward trying to figure out if he's going to kill this girl or not, and how he wants to kill everyone in their biology classroom just to drink her blood. I loved their weird, they're not matching up on wavelengths of, like I liked that. It wasn't then when they got into a relationship, I was like, I'm not here for it anymore. I was like, at this point I was like, okay, I know what happens, I just don't know how he's going to describe it and what extra tidbits we're gonna get with it being in his perspective versus her perspective, which I only know because of the movies, because I didn't read the books. Which I'm kind of tempted to read Twilight because I want to know what Bella talked about. Like, he is making her sound like she is crazy. And I just want to know if she tells it the same. Like, if she, like, does she admit the truth? Is she admitting information so she doesn't sound like a crazy person? Because all throughout his book, she sounds kind of crazy. Like, I'm like, girl, this man is a vampire, and you're like, just like, like, I know I love vampires, but like, I would at least in the back of my head some sense of like, I am a meal to you, like. Anyway, those were the two books that I read. Um, An Almond for a Parrot and Midnight Sun. Did I like these books? I probably wouldn't give each of them more than, I don't know, 3 stars. Like, I don't know, but those were my May reads. And if you saw my June hopefuls, my gay month hopefuls, you could probably tell that I'm trying to scrub the Midnight Sun out of my brain because I have so many queer vampire books on that list. But yeah, these are the 2 books that I read. Hopefully, for Pride Month, I read so many more books because I am 25 books behind my goal right now. And I think my goal was 75 books this year. And I've only read how many? How many? 7. Ah, okay.